ready to eat, so if you can...
Oi!
Violet rushes up and grabs my leg.
Where do we read?
I smile at her. It's time to eat right now.
Mama, wait, bye!
Yep, but you need to eat your dinner first.
And I promise that we will read together after dinner, okay?
Okay.
Let's go into the kitchen and see Mama.
Okay.
After eating, we go into the living room to visit. I want to just crash on the couch, but Violet runs up to me.
Wait, no, Louie. Violet, I think here he is.
It's okay, Siri. Violet knows how much I love to read, don't you?
Yeah.
I get a pillow and sit down on the floor. Why don't you pick out a book that we can read together? I've got a better idea, Violet. You should ask Yuri to tell you a story.
Huh?
Yuri not only likes to read, but she also likes to make up stories and will tell you a new one if you ask her nicely.
She will.
Wait, what? Come on, Yuri. I'm certain it was you that told me the story of the giant and the beanstalk when I was young. I blush. I'm surprised you remember. You couldn't have been much older than Violet is now. You thought it was weird. And to be honest, it was weird, especially at that age. Sorry. And don't be. It helps me to look at things differently. It's why I still remember you telling it to me after all these years. So what do you say, Violet? Do you want Yuri to tell you a weird story?
No, I want book.
She runs into the library, what used to be the den when my mother lived here. I tried. It's okay, it's what she's used to. I start to stand up to go after Violet. She's a bit young and most of the books Jane and I have are not for kids. However, before I do so, she runs back out with a book in her hands.
This one! Read this one!
The book she is holding doesn't appear to be one of the children's books we keep for guests. It looks like one of my hardback novels. Now that book might be a little big for you.
Oh.
But let me take a look first.
Here.
She eagerly hands me the book. I take it and look at the cover. I'm surprised. It's a collection of myths and fairy tales, one without any pictures on the cover. While it is a bit old for her, it is one Jean and I keep on our kid shelves. I wonder what made her choose it, though. It may be a little big, but we can still read it together.
Yay!
I open it up and our Violet eagerly plops down on my lap. Oof, you're getting a little big for that.
You be nice to Yuri now.
Yeah.
I don't mind you sitting on my lap, just don't jump like that, okay?
Yay.
Since the book has a lot of really old stories in it, let's find one that will be fun to read.
Oh, where's the pictures?
This book doesn't have any. Do you want to get one that does?
Don't read this one.
Okay, we will. I look at the page I randomly turned to. A Native American legend about a girl committing suicide to appease the spirits. Let's find a story that will be fun and age-appropriate. I skim through the book. An old version of Red Riding Hood that ends with a girl eaten by the wolf. A girl escaping from her demon husband after a forced marriage. Aztec gods sacrificing each other to become the sun and moon. Okay, this is obviously a book of classic myths and fairy tales. I think I should keep it on a higher shelf when I put it away. I keep turning pages. Zeus. Nope, I have absolutely no desire to try to explain patricide and infidelity to her. The Greek myth of Arachne. That one isn't too bad. Violet gets quiet as I put my finger towards the first word. As always, I point to each word as I say it so she can follow along. Once upon a time, there was a woman named Arachne. Violet stays quiet and just doesn't interrupt as I read. I doubt she understands all of it, but she doesn't stop me to ask questions. I soon reach the end of the story. And so Athena cursed Arachne, turning her into the first spider, forced to weave webs forever. I close the book.
Is it true?
The story?
Yeah.
People used to think things are so a long time ago, but I don't think it's true. Violet curls up in my lap a little. I think she's tired.
Read another, Yui.
I stroke her head. Not strike it, dear God. Of course.
January, year 25.
I am currently in the living room eating dinner with Jean, trying to convince myself I'm enjoying it. I really hate having to watch what I eat like this. I'm not cut out for vegetarian meals like Monica. I want a bacon cheeseburger dripping with grease, not this plain salad without even any dressing on it. Gina's eating a taco salad, or so has some delicious mid-looking meat, cheese, guacamole, and chips in his.
And you know I completely support you in your diet, but I don't think you will ruin it if you eat more than lettuce and tomato tonight.
I realized he was staring at his plate. I'm fine. I take another big bite of lettuce.
Alright.
Fortunately, the diet is working. I have been managing to keep my weight steady, even if it is not as low as I'd like. I look at the clock. They should be here in 5 minutes. Jean looks towards the clock, nods, and begins eating faster. Sarah and her family are coming over for another Friday night game night, after she picks up James and Edward from MC. We agreed to eat before since the board game we planned to play takes so long. I wonder if I will meet James's girlfriend tonight. I know she goes to school with him, so she must live in the area. I haven't heard more about James getting in trouble about his grades because of her, so I'm guessing that got worked out. I finish my salad and put my plate in the sink. I then go into the library, get the game, and take it into the kitchen. I start setting up the game on the table. Usually we play games on the floor of the living room, but this one has so many pieces it's best if we use the table. And if I'm being honest, it's getting harder for me to get up off the floor these days. When I am almost done setting up the game, Gene comes in and puts his plate in the sink.
Have you heard from Sayori or Lucas yet? They should have been here by now.
I look at the clock and see they're almost 20 minutes late. No, but maybe they got held up when picking up the kids from MC. They're also not the most punctual people in the world.
Yeah, but they're usually not this late.
Jean's right, MC doesn't live that far away. And the few times she's been held up there dealing with him, on nights they're visiting, she's always at least texted to let me know. I double-check my phone.
Oh, what does it say? Oh, this whole conversation.
It has been a couple of weeks. Want to come over for games tonight?
Yeah, we'll be there. Oh, what should we play?
Astria Creator.
That game maxes out at 4 players. With James and Edward, there are 6 of us.
And Jean has been wanting to play Terraforming Mars again.
Isn't it that 5-player only?
Yes, but we've stretched it to 6 before.
We ran out of time last time we tried it.
If we all eat before you come over, we will have time.
Now let's come see to beat the kids early then. We'll be there right after picking them up like usual.
Nothing new since this morning. I'm really concerned. I suddenly realized that maybe she messaged me on the group chat by mistake.
Group chat's empty. There's nothing.
No post from anyone there today. I consider whether I should call Sayori or go to MC's apartment when I start to hear yelling in front of our house. It sounds like a real bad argument. I recognize one of the voices as Sayori's. I haven't heard her shout like that since she was married to MC. I hope she isn't having marital problems with Lucas. I go outside to see what's going on.
I can't believe you're not taking this seriously! It's that kind of attitude that caused this problem in the first place!
I see Violet on the ground holding Sayori's hand looking troubled and a little scared. I pick her up and give her a hug. It will be okay, little one. Mama's not mad at you.
It wouldn't be a problem if you weren't being such an asshole.
You do not talk to your mother that way, young man.
You're not my dad.
Edward shakes his head and walks past me into the door.
James is in trouble.
At least it isn't Sayori and Lucas fighting.
No, I'm your stepfather, and I care about you just as if you were my own. You're being childish, irresponsible, and throwing your life away. That's bad enough, but you're also hurting your mother, and that I will not stand for.
It's not a big deal.
Yes, it is, and you thinking otherwise is half the problem!
I'm not kidding anymore. We'll deal with it.
If you want me to stop treating you like a child, then stop acting like one!
Fine, I don't need this. I'm going back to Dad's.
James turns around and storms off down the street. Sayori starts to go after him, but Lucas stops her.
Let me go after him. I think he's more likely to talk to me now than you. Even if he won't listen to me, I'll make sure he gets back to MC's apartment safely.
But...
Besides, I think you could use one of Yuri's calming teas right now.
I put my arm around Sayori. Lucas is right. Why don't you come inside and let him handle it? Statement not question.
Okay.
Thanks, Yuri.
You'd better hurry before he gets too far away. Lucas nods and begins to jog after James. I guide Sayori into the house. I bring Sayori into the kitchen and sit her down at the table. I look at the game I set up earlier. I know we're not playing it tonight. I set Violet down on the floor, get my kettle, and start filling it with water. I was thinking of making some chamomile tea. Would you like to have some with me, or maybe something else?
A cup of tea will be fine. Whatever kind you think is best.
I put the kettle on the stove and get out of the chamomile. I put the tea in the strainer and set it in the teapot.
Man, she really zoomed.
Violet washes the sherbet and walks out of the kitchen. I poke my head out to see what she's doing. I watch her go to Jane and Edward, who are playing video games in the living room. She'll be okay with them. I turn back towards Sayori, who is just sitting there. I want to ask her what she thought the fight with James was about, but I feel that right now it would be best to let her bring it up. I get down 2 teacups along with a sugar bowl for Sayori and set them on a tray. She has always liked sugar, but not cream in her tea. It isn't long after the kettle begins to whistle. I take it off the stove and immediately pour the boiling water into the teapot. Herbal teas need to be hot. I set a timer for 10 minutes so that it's steeped fully. I prefer stronger teas, and I'm hoping it will help Sayori relax more. I start putting the board game away so I will have space to set the tea.
Sorry. I know how much you enjoy playing board games with us.
It is quite alright. The game has a lot of pieces, so by the time I'm done I see there is less than a minute on the timer. Rather than waiting for it to go off, I turn it off early and remove the strainer. I take the tray over the table and carefully pour both of us a cup. 2 lumps of sugar. Sayori smiles weakly.
Yes, please.
I carefully stir the blast of sugar into Sayori's cup and then hand it to her with a little bow. Or bow, rather.
Why do you do that?
Do what?
I give a bow when you serve people tea. You've always done it, at least since high school.
My mom once took me to a place where they performed traditional Japanese tea ceremonies. I loved the formality and serenity of it. It is my way of trying to replicate that for others, at least a little. I sit down next to her and take a sip of my tea.
Thank you.
You are more than welcome for the tea.
No, thank you for always being there for me.
Of course, as I have told you many times over the years, you are my sister, friend, and I cherish my friends. I put my arm around her comfortingly.
Do you realize we've been friends for over half our lives now?
I do some quick math in my head and realize she's right. Monica and Natsuki are as well.
Yes, but my suicide attempt, my depression, my weddings, my divorce, my pregnancies. You've always been there.
On the sidelines.
Supporting me through them.
She takes another sip of tea.
And I know it's just my depression and emotions being all out of whack, but I feel like I'm always taking from you and never giving.
Do you know how lonely my life would be without you? Without Monica and Natsuki? Before I joined the literature club, I had no friends at school, only my board game group and some people I chatted with online. You say you never helped me, but you always have. I sometimes imagine what my life would be like without you. Ending up as a complete recluse, spending all my free time reading books with maybe a bunch of cats as my only company.
I don't think you would have become a crazy cat lady.
Possibly. I'm glad I never had to find out. Honestly, I probably would be dead without Sayori and the others. Either from taking my cutting too far and having an accident, or outright suicide. I think the loneliness would have gotten to me. Please believe me, though, when I tell you that I have always seen you as being here for me, as much as I've been there for you. Even if you can't see it right now. I get up and pour myself some more tea. And would you like some more, too? Sarah looks down at her cup, which I see is empty.
Yes, please. Only 1 sugar this time.
I take her cup, fill it, stir in the sugar, then hand it to her with my customary bow. Sarah smiles.
You should learn how to perform the tea ceremony. I think you'd be good at it.
Maybe someday. I sit down next to Sayori again and we calmly drink our tea together. We are silent and don't say anything to each other for a couple of minutes. I can faintly hear the sounds of the video game coming from the other room.
I'm going to be a grandmother this year.
I look at her in surprise. I'm guessing you're not talking about Meredith.
Angela, James's girlfriend, is pregnant. She's due in September. I just found out when we picked him up today.
I want to say congratulations, but I know that is the wrong thing to say right now. I continue to drink my tea and let Sayori talk.
They're so young. Too young to be having kids of their own. I mean, how could this happen?
I would assume it happened because they had sex. Sayori sputters.
Well, yes, of course they... You're just messing with me, aren't you?
Sorry, I was trying to lighten the mood. Sayori shakes her head.
Oh, thanks for trying. I just don't know where I went wrong. We had the talk. I even went over contraceptives with him. Did he forget? Ignore what he was told? Did he use it wrong? Did it just fail? It was hard enough talking about it with him, but hypothetically, I have no idea how to ask him now.
Does it matter?
Of course it matters. I can't believe you would think this isn't a big deal.
The fact that James's girlfriend is pregnant is a big deal, but I don't think how she's got pregnant is. It has already happened. There's no going back. I think what matters is what they are going to do now.
Okay, you have a point, but that isn't much better. James says they're keeping the baby.
Not having an abortion.
Their parents are adamantly opposed to that. They're both still in 11th grade. How are they going to care for a baby while going to school?
I remember the school having a daycare when we were there.
Yeah, I do remember that as well. But what about clothes, bottles, diapers? Babies aren't cheap to care for. I don't want James to be an absentee father, but he's been having enough trouble with school as it is. How is he going to help care for his child when he can't even take care of himself?
I assume the option of adopting the baby out has been brought up.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for, since it seems like abortion is completely off the table. But right now they are so enamored over the idea of having a baby, they're not thinking about the reality of having a baby. They don't want to give it up and never see it again. I understand, I really do. This is going to be my first grandchild. I don't want to give it up either. But you have to do what is best for your children, even if it isn't what you personally want.
I briefly imagined Jean and I adopting the baby. It would be wonderful. We'd finally have a child of our own. James and Angela would be like an aunt and uncle. Sayori could be a grandma, or a great aunt. Angela's parents live nearby and would be welcome to be grandparents. It's the perfect solution. But just as quickly, the dream is gone. Jean and I can't adopt. It doesn't matter if James and Angela are okay with it. It doesn't matter how perfect it is for everyone involved. We've looked it up online from time to time over the years to see if something has changed that would allow us to finally adopt. The situation has just gotten worse as the two of us continue to age. No judge would sign off on it. You might suggest an open adoption. They are more common than you might think these days.
What's that?
It's an adoption where the birth family retains some right to contact with the adopted child. The amount of contact is worked out by the lawyers and adoption agency beforehand. But it can't be anything from a yearly letter to scheduled visitation to practically being extended family. I would bring that up with them, maybe with her parents as well. Perhaps they will agree to that.
Maybe.
Sayori sits there thinking. I fear that she will bring up the obvious suggestion of Jean and I bringing the ones to adopt the child. She knows that we've talked to and can't. Or we've wanted to and can't. I doubt she just realizes her, James, and Angela's opinion of us doesn't matter. I'm already struggling enough with the idea as is. I drain my cup of tea and try to clear my head of those thoughts. Sayori stands up and rinses her cup out in the sink. Since she appears to be done, I pick up the tea tray and take it over to the sink. I empty the teapot and begin washing it. Sayori takes both her cup and mine and puts them in the dishwasher.